Today, I want to share a message, one that speaks to both women and men, to the women who have learned to be strong, and to the men who sometimes wonder where they fit in, who hesitate, who fear that their presence or their role is no longer needed. This is a conversation about strength, about balance, about remembering that we are not meant to stand against each other, but beside each other. There are women we admire in silence, those who move forward without waiting for a helping hand. They have learned to stand up on their own, to build empires of resilience and willpower. These are the warriors of everyday life, the women we call strong, maybe too strong. They have taken charge of their own destiny, carried burdens, usually meant for broad shoulders, and carved their path in a world that often made them believe that softness was a weakness. So, they put on armor. They handled everything, always. They took on roles that were never meant to be theirs. They held the reins because no one else held them firmly enough. They protected, supported, carried, never allowing themselves to be the ones protected. But when you hold on to everything for too long, you forget that sometimes you can let go. Who told these women that they also have the right to be vulnerable? Who whispered to them that leaning on someone doesn't mean losing their strength? Who reminded them that power is not just about leading, but also about following when the dance requires it? Because yes, there is a dance they have forgotten, the one where they can let themselves go, close their eyes, and feel a steady hand guiding their steps. The one where they can breathe, allow themselves to simply be women. The one where they can welcome a prince, not a savior, no, they don't need saving, but a man who understands that true strength is not about control but about being there, present, steady. This prince doesn't have a white horse, he doesn't wear a crown or own a kingdom. He simply has the patience to wait for her to take off her armor, the kindness to not turn it into a battle, the strength to be a shelter when she allows herself to let go. And maybe real strength is just that, the ability to be both strong and soft, to be a rock when needed, and a feather when the wind carries it, to allow oneself to be surprised, to be loved, to be led sometimes, not because we are weak, but because we are allowed to be. Maybe the greatest gift a strong woman can give herself is learning that she doesn't have to be strong all the time, and maybe somewhere a prince is simply waiting for her to make space for him. But this message isn't just for women. To the men listening, this is for you too. In a world that pushes women to be stronger, tougher, more independent, I know that sometimes you don't know where you fit in anymore. Maybe you've been told to step back, to not take up too much space. Maybe you've hesitated, afraid of being too much, or worse, not enough. Maybe you've held back your instincts to protect, to lead, to take care of the woman in front of you, because you thought she didn't need it, because you thought she wouldn't let you. But here's the truth. Strength doesn't make a woman untouchable. Independence doesn't mean she doesn't want to be cared for. Confidence doesn't mean she doesn't crave softness. She's strong, yes, but that doesn't mean you have to be less. Don't lose yourself in the fear of not being needed. Don't shrink because the world tells you that masculinity is outdated. Don't let your chivalry die because someone once said it wasn't necessary. It is. The world still needs men who stand tall, who protect, not because they think women are weak, but because they understand the beauty of being a shelter. The world still needs men who open doors, not because women can't do it themselves, but because the gesture is a quiet way of saying, I see you, I respect you, I honor you. The world still needs men who lead when it's time to lead, and who know when to step back and admire the fire of a woman who takes charge. Chivalry was never about superiority. It was never about power. It was always about presence, about a man showing up with integrity, with strength, with a deep understanding of his role, not as a ruler, but as a partner, as a pillar. So, to the men listening, be that man. Be the one who isn't afraid to stand beside a strong woman, not to compete with her, not to silence her, but to walk with her. Be the one who still believes in protection, in honor, in guiding when it's needed and following when it's right. Be the one who reminds the world that masculinity, in its purest form, was never about control. It was always about balance. Somewhere there is a woman who has worn her armor for too long, and somewhere there is a man who has been waiting for her to take it off, just enough to let him in. Maybe the secret is this: she doesn't need saving, and he doesn't need proving. Maybe they just need to remember how to dance again,